Somebody time me, this is going to be short. Remember I said that, right? I had this question just keep coming to my mind. What in the world are you doing here? No presents? No gifts to unwrap? Why are you here? And you know, when I heard that Christmas was on a Sunday, I thought, wow, I hope our Sunday service doesn't get in the way of the celebration of Jesus coming. And so I wanted to start out with that question, why are you here? Because I want you to think about why you're here. I want you to think about why we gather. I want you to think about today. Forget all the other days. Forget tomorrow. Forget all of them. Why today are you here? It's just because you go to church on Sunday, right? It's Christmas. I was looking online and this morning, and I just some of the videos from Jill sharing today in Liberia. You know, so pray for Lindsay that she didn't fall asleep. But I'm kidding. If Jill, you see this, I was kidding. But and then I look and I watched Edward's group, all the orphans and all the people. They're just gathering, just tons of people gathering. And then I started thinking, well, where else would we be except for together celebrating the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus, and even the birth of Jesus, right? So I want you to grab onto something. There's a lot of things I want you to grab onto. Probably you're only going to grab onto a few. But this is what I want. Wrong place, wrong peace. Can you say that back to me? Wrong place, wrong peace. Say it again. Wrong place, wrong peace. So at 3 a.m, this little thing I'm about to share with you happened. I roll over. I'm like, what? Like, what? What's happening? It was Kathy punching me, saying, roll over. You're snoring. How many snores do we have in here? Liars. Some of you lie. Okay, right? Well, you haven't snored like I snored. I'm bad. Okay, I'm just going to say I am bad at that, right? And so Kathy's, it's something that's really an issue, right? And she's like, roll over. Yesterday, I think it was, she told me, she says, when you're on your one side, you don't snore at all. When you need, what am I gonna do, okay? I gotta breathe, I'm snoring, I'm sorry, okay? But you know what she wanted, what she was looking for? Yeah, peace. She's looking for some kind of peace. Some kind of rest. What are you looking for? Wrong place, wrong peace. Wrong place, wrong peace. Our time together is going to be short, I'm telling you that, but it's going to be significant because I want you to understand something that I don't believe that most of the world understands. Because they're going to the wrong place and they're looking for the wrong peace. And it's a perpetual thing. Can you throw that picture up on the screen? I want you to see this. Okay, so let me tell you about these two places here. The one on your left, what do you notice? Huh? Oh, it says open, right? What do you notice about the place on the right? There's no sign. If there was, this is the only picture we're going to need up there. But if I backed up where I was at in my truck, you would actually see that the place on the right is an empty department store, and it actually has all kinds of tags on the door saying for sale, for rent, for lease. If you backed up on the left, you would see that it says Greek's Pizza. And it has all these decorations. I'm sitting in my truck, and this happens. Some family, entire family, walks up, and they go to the door over here. Literally, they go over here. And I watch them, And I see him jerk on this door right here, and then the guy in confusion turns around and looks at his family. In frustration, because it's locked, doesn't open up. As it turned out, you know what they were looking for? Pizza! Wrong place, wrong piece. So they gathered themselves together after their incredible disappointment of not getting what they were looking for on 8:11, and they went over to 8:1. I think there should be a, right? And they, lo and behold, they open the door, and it's open. And they go in, I'm assuming that they ordered pizza. I don't think they went in and said, hey, what's wrong with the place next door? It's locked. They went in, they sat down, and they got what they were looking for. Wrong place, wrong piece. Do you even know why I'm saying that? We're in a world that is looking for peace. We're in a church, right, of people. At times, we're looking for peace. And what we want is what? We want the storm to go away. We want the pain to go away. We want the suffering to go away. And so we're looking for a peace that would be a topical ointment on our suffering flesh. Wrong place, wrong piece. And so there's an understanding that I want to tell you that I want you to grab onto and I want you to wrestle with this week. And then I'm just going to let you go, right? Outside of Jesus, you're an enemy to God. I know that's a rough way of saying it. Outside of Jesus, you're an enemy of God. When we walked out of the Garden of Eden, we became an adversary. Right? Is it adversary, enemy? Is that right? I got way over my head there. Way over my head. We became an enemy of God, not because of God, but because of our sin. Nothing personal, but just it happened. If this candle was lit right now and I had tissue paper and I held it up, what's going to happen to the tissue paper? It's going to be devoured. It's not personal with the fire. It's not personal at all. You just can't have the two together. And so I want us to understand that if there is a warring tribe, and they're trying to kill one another, they are enemies, they're against one another. You know, the Bible says God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Humanity thinks they're owed something. Humanity thinks that God has come to calm the waters and to give them peace in their flesh and to make everything go all right. Wrong place. Wrong piece. And they're looking for the waters just to calm down. Why? And they're mad at God because things are falling apart. Well, if God was so loving and so good, then why would this happen? Well, guess what? We're not living in God's plan, humanity. We're living with ours. We packed our bags and we rolled out of paradise. We said we're going to do it our own way. And so what that did is that pitted us against God. I had somebody tell me not too long ago that I'm going to give God a piece of my mind. When we get up there, He's got some things that He's got to answer. Really? Now, you may laugh at that person, but isn't that what's in some of our bitterness and in our heart? Because we just feel wronged, right? Somehow we feel wronged in this world. Wrong place, wrong piece. So what God did in His love is God said to humanity, I'm offering you peace in your soul. I'm sending my child. I'm sending me in the form of a child. I'm sending an advocate. I'm sending a message. I'm sending out an olive branch. I'm sending this message to the whole world that I offer you peace. And you and I, we take it for the wrong peace. Oh, awesome, God's here. Nothing bad's going to happen now. Nothing ugly's going to happen. Oh, good, all the storms are going to go away. Did it ever dawn on you, did you ever wonder why Jesus was so upset with his disciples when they were terrified in the boat? And he just said, why are you so afraid? Isn't it obvious? Isn't it obvious why you're mad, why you're bitter, why you're frustrated? There's no peace. Because we're looking for peace in the flesh rather than peace that comes from baby Jesus. Baby Jesus was the negotiation with humanity. It's what God offered. He said, I'm sending my son, and my son's going to die for you. And that is the path, the only path of peace with me. Your problem is not trouble here on earth. Your problem is you have to have peace with God. I have some scriptures I just want to share with you. Isaiah 9:6. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders. And he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. In Job 21:22, it says, submit to God and be at peace with God. In that way, this way, prosperity will come to you. See, people are trying to be at peace in this world instead of at peace with God. Wrong place. Wrong peace. John 16:33. I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble. But take heart, I have overcome the world. Romans 5:1. Therefore, since we have been justified through faith, we have peace with God. Isn't that interesting? See, not many people are celebrating this year that they have peace with God. They're celebrating they're getting a bunch of gifts, and they feel good, and they look good, and they're wonderful. They're celebrating that, I got a good home and a good house, I'm being thankful. The greatest thing we should celebrate is the fact that we have peace with a God we can't defeat. Wrong place, wrong peace. John 14:27. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. Isn't that powerful? Open your eyes, open your heart to the beautiful thing that God has given us. When we made ourselves his enemy because of our sin, God said, hey, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to pursue you. I love that song, No Lie, I Won't Tear Down, coming after you. See, what God has done to humanity is God has come and he's pursued us into the darkness, and he's offered us his hand. And he said, come to me, all who are weary, all who are heavy burdened, and I will give you rest. What are you looking for? To those who have been kind of enlightened, you wouldn't try to get in the building going on the right, would you? You'd probably the glaring sign above the door that says open, blinking, open, pizza, come in. You know what's so interesting is the world is pausing, and there's a giant sign, a giant thing above a tree that's saying, hey, I've come to offer you peace. Will you take it? Will you take it? We ignore the peace. We ignore the peace that God offers, trying to gain peace in places where there is no peace promised. Wrong place, wrong peace. I ask you what you're doing here. I think we're here to hear that message. And it's so interesting. Have you ever felt ungrateful? This is where my message gets longer than I want it to. Have you ever felt ungrateful? Have you ever wondered why that it's just never enough? Because the peace that the world offers doesn't satisfy, and it leaves you empty and wanting more. And then people on the outside of you, they look at you and say, why are you not grateful? What is the deal? I'll tell you the deal. The deal is that you're going to the wrong place, trying to get the wrong peace, and it never satisfies. You know a question that I have about the redeemed? Not the world, about the redeemed. Why aren't we excited about the coming of the Messiah? Why aren't we excited? Why aren't we so overjoyed? Why isn't our cup just overflowing? Why? Wrong place, wrong peace. Even the redeemed get it wrong sometimes, don't we? We forget what we have and why we have it. See, because if you truly understood the magnitude of what happened when we walked out of the garden and the person you're facing, God himself, you'd take anything that he offers. I don't know why I've always been drawn to this idea that when the bombs fell in Japan, they just said, we unconditionally surrender. You know why they did that? They realized what they were up against, and there was no chance of survival. God, the creator of everything, has offered to the world a peace. And all we want is we want the waves to go away and the storms to go away and the pain and the suffering. He said, your weakness is my stage. Your brokenness is my stage to proclaim to a world that's dying and lost and wondering if there's any hope. And they look at us and say, is there any hope? We should be so ate up and so enamored with the peace of God that we should be cold without it. So I want you to think about it. I feel like God today, on such a beautiful day of celebration, has pulled us all in. And I just love this. Because sometimes when we're just smaller, it's more intimate, and we can just talk and we can just say, hey, look what God's done. He's pulled us in for a small conversation about peace where we're all challenged, right? We say, God, help me see. Am I standing at the wrong door, looking for the wrong thing? Am I confused? And so I want to close. I don't know if you have a song that you're going to close with, but why don't you come on up here? And I don't even know what kind of invitation we want, but the reality is wrong place, wrong peace. If that describes you at all, and you just want to say, God, I need help, let's do this. Let's pray together. And so whoever wants to come forward, we'll just pray as a group, and we'll just say, God, help me. Help me to go to the right place and seek the right peace. So I invite you to stand and to come as we sing.
Sam, you said, why can't we get excited?